Welcome to this very special episode of the Mission Makers podcast, recorded live with Labyrinth Events, which is a UK collective founded in 2017 by Nick Castleman, and they've become really renowned in the industry for showcasing avant-garde artists, labels and communities that push the boundaries of dance music. They operate under the ethos of quality over quantity, and that's really shone through each one of their events in the last years, many of which have been sold out in venues such as Village Underground, the Roundhouse and Toft Manor. And that makes them the perfect platform to spotlight Indo Warehouse, our special guests today. Indo Warehouse was founded by the dynamic duo of Kahani and Kunal Merchant in New York, and together they have taken the stage by storm, fusing South Asian culture and sounds with hypnotic electronic music to form a new cultural movement, a topic that we touch deeply upon today. This episode captures the magic of their two sold-out shows at Earth in London with Labyrinth, and through our conversation we will uncover how the collective honour tradition while pushing boundaries, the important milestones that have helped define the brand, the most significant challenges facing the industry today, what they look for when signing new talent, and advice for fellow South Asians who are looking to break away from the norm. So let's dive straight in. Hi guys, welcome to Mission Makers. How are you both doing today?
Doing well. Thank you for having us.
Doing great, thank you.
Recovering from last night's show?
Yeah.
Last night was crazy. Last night was show 1 of 2, so tonight we have our second show. London's amazing. The energy here is great.
Nice. Well, welcome. So let's dive straight into it. Kunal, we always love to dive into our the meaning behind our guest name. And so we found out that your name means lotus and golden, and Kahani means story and beacon of light. So in many ways, this could be profoundly significant to what you both are running today with Indo Warehouse. So have you guys ever thought about the meaning of your name and if it's played any sort of subconscious influence on you guys?
You know, for my entire life, I thought my name meant something else. And then recently I was told it meant lotus, and it has had a mind shift. So unfortunately has not had a role in anything leading up into now, but it is something I'm thinking about now. And I think you'll see in the months ahead how I do incorporate the meaning of my name into some of the brand and some of the aesthetics that I put out in my shows.
What did you think your name meant?
I thought it meant sun. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. It means the sun. But no.
Golden is kind of in there.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I like lotus.
For me, really, I mean, so Kahani means story. It came about because about 3 years ago when I was producing music, I ran into this pattern where, you know, I'm making section 1 of a track, section 2, section 3, and I'm basically crafting a film in my head as I'm building it out. So there was one track that I made, which I haven't released or ever played out, but by the end of it, I feel like I had written a short film, end to end, and I was so excited for it. I was like, oh, this is going to be a great film. I'm going to put it in a film festival or something. And in that moment, I'm like, why do I always do this? I have all these ideas, and it just struck then. And then from that moment, I was like, wait, this is easy to pronounce globally, and it works, and it is who I am. So yeah,
I think this is an opportunity to fix something that people always confuse with your name.
Oh yeah. So in today's world, I feel like people see your Instagram handle and they just assume that's your name. And so all the time, this is a great, thank you, Kunal. This is a great segue to my artist name is Kahani, and it's just Kahani. It's not Kahani Music, as many people will be messaging me or even out loud, I'm hearing Kahani Music. And I'm like, this is interesting. It's very clear that my name's just Kahani as an artist. So yeah, I'm going to take this time to let everyone know it's just Kahani. You don't need to add music at the end. I make music. But, yeah.
Also in India, there's an outlet who wrote a whole article about us, a big article, and they called us a duo, Kahani. So let's clear it up. He's Kahani. I'm Kunal Merchant. We're two people.
And together you're Indo Warehouse.
Yes, we are part of Indo Warehouse.
Part of Indo Warehouse. So I think we're sitting here now at I don't know if it's the exact date, but it's definitely the month. Well, actually, we're in March now. So just beyond the 2-year anniversary of Indo Warehouse, right? So congratulations. That's a big milestone.
Thank you.
But how did the stars align to bring you both together? How did you guys meet?
So I always knew that Kunal is this interesting, hardworking character in New York City who's a DJ, and he had released some very interesting projects. J-Hove was one of them. If you want to quickly touch on that, just so there's context to what J-Hove is.
J-Hove is like a remix project I put together with my friend Safe, where we re-envisioned if Jay-Z went to India, and we created a 6-track EP that we put on vinyl. It's one of many projects I've done that he caught wind of.
And so I was in the early stages of building out the concept of Indo, and I basically had this test event in New York City, and this was I want to say August of 2021, and I just put it out, and this is right after people are emerging from being locked down in COVID and not really going out, and so energy is high in New York City. It's a Thursday night, and it's a rainy day. And yet somehow I throw this test event and places slam. Everyone wanted to come out. But it wasn't called Indo yet. It was just kind of an open night where we're going to showcase some new music. And I invited Kunal, and I messaged him on Instagram. I was like, hey, would love to see you. And I would love for you to check it out. And I remember he came, and I got a note, like someone from our staff was downstairs. He's like, Kunal's here. And I went downstairs. I greeted Kunal, and I was like, yo, it's good to have you. And we didn't know each other at all. So it was not much more than just like, yo, like, thanks for coming. And halfway through the night, I'll let you take over what you felt, but
it was a cool party, and I was like, all right, cool. I went to go check out his party. It's interesting. And I'm leaving. I'm walking down the stairs, and they're playing house music, but it didn't feel necessarily like different. But I'm walking down the stairs, and I hear this singer, where I think is a singer, singing like classical Indian like vocals on top of a house record, and literally stopped me in my tracks. I'm like, wait, hold on a second. And we literally reverse went up the stairs, and sure enough, it was Ben Parag, this artist, singing on top of a track. I'm like, wait, this is different. This is interesting. So then I ended up leaving after that. But it intrigued my mind, like, okay, he's doing something different. He said he was doing something different, is actually doing something different. Because a lot of people say that, oh, I'm about this, but they don't actually fulfill that, and he was doing that. So
yeah, and so that basically set the precedence for a couple months later, February of 2022, launched the first Indo Warehouse event. And I think at that point in my head, I was like, Kunal is like a tastemaker. I'm just looking, there's a couple of people in New York where if they come to the show, I kind of want a little bit of validation through their feedback. And so I invited him for that. And over the course of the next like 5 to 6 months, Kunal would continue to attend, and we'd be talking more and more about like what can be improved and this and that. And then, we connected on this, and he came in as a partner, in the summer. And since then, our growth has just been beautiful. And so cheers to that.
Nice. Yeah. So talking about the growth, I mean, it's literally one of the fastest growing collectives in electronic music right now, which is, that's not an easy feat, especially coming off the back of a pandemic and everything else going on in the world right now. And to achieve that in literally just 2 years. I'd love for you to tell our audience, many of whom are in the music industry, who run parties, who are DJs, who are promoters, label owners, what core ingredients do you believe have been instrumental in distinguishing the brand and Indo Warehouse from other labels and other event series?
Yeah, I think we've really put a lot of care into the experience and making sure that when people come to our events, they really feel that it's something new, different in all aspects. But I also think that the growth of our events and our music is just largely because there's been a gap for so long. And our community has never really had a home where they can express their culture, their appreciation for dance music, with a dedicated focus. And I think, a lot of times if you hear us talk about our events or parties, we don't really label them as that. We call them experiences. And the reason for that is the moment you walk out of your Uber or your car, or whatever you're doing to get to the front of the line to get a ticket or to check in, you're going to feel something different about what you're about to experience. And we take great care, great passion into that because we want people to realize that our culture is so vast. It's not just the music, it is the smell, it is the fashion, it is, um, the social environments, everything. It's just things that we grew up with. And we want to make sure that our events and our experiences really embody that holistically. And certainly when you're in that mind space and you understand you're in a different place, you're transported, and then you hear the music, you're just likely more open to it. I think that's what you see when you go to a great festival or a great nightclub. When you feel that everything is meticulously taken care of, you're just more open to what you're about to experience sonically. And so, with that, with also our craft, every single show, I know for a fact he is literally working on tracks till the moment we're on stage. We never want to play the same sets. We never want to play something that people feel like, I heard that last time I saw them. Like that was, it's cool, but I may be bored. Yeah. And so we take really great care. And part of that is also like our passion, but it's also realizing that we're elevating our culture through the music we play. And if we just play one style or one sound or from, one South Asian background, then we're not representing everyone who's in the crowd. So it's really important for us to think about that and be mindful.
For sure. And why do you think that the brand is able to exist now? Like, do you think it could have existed 10 years ago? Was the world ready for that then?
I think it could have existed 10 years ago, but it wouldn't have seen the growth. I think I think now it is the perfect time. And it's for a variety of reasons. I mean, the way the music industry has shifted, what people want when they go out, and how they socialize, how people listen and consume music. Everything has shifted. So if the brand existed 10 years ago, it would have been just a slow growth. But I think like we've seen the explosion because we put a lot of energy at the right time. And so, yeah, I mean, in ways, though, I will say that both of us were dripping elements of what is now Indo Warehouse, probably for the last 10 to 15 years in whatever we've done. So Indo Warehouse may have started 2 years ago, but us building elements of this sound and how we build experiences, I mean, we've been doing that for a decade or more.
I'll just add, I mean, I think for us personally, this guy's been the aux cord baby. When he was, I don't know what, 1 years old, he was asking for the CD player to basically soundtrack his parents' parties. And, I have similar background in that respect of just wanting to create experiences for people. But I think there's also an element that we have to acknowledge that there were people doing this 10 years ago in their own ways. And in London, especially, when you think about like Talvin Singh's Anoka party, like that started and set a foundation. I remember when I heard his song on a Panasonic DVD ad or what it was, and it was like a moment of like, holy shit, like that's our sound in a TV commercial, but there's a drum and bass track, So there was moments, but I think what we're able to do now is, it's based on timing. Timing we can't predict. That's the one element that we're fortunate that this is a time where people really want this and appreciate it.
For sure. And so with that, how do you navigate the actual balance, which is quite delicate, I think, of honoring, tradition, our culture, but then also pushing the boundaries of innovation within the music and with the events?
I think we're just being authentic to ourselves. The thing is, across many artists, brands, labels, it's very easy to get sucked into what you think people want, as opposed to just staying authentic to what you want to build and present. And I think especially when you see growth, I mean, we see it all the time, right? Like now our rooms, we just did an entire India tour, and every single venue and place we played was 3,000 up. And what's important when you achieve certain size rooms is to acknowledge that there's going to be people in the room who have been coming to your stuff and get it, and there's going to be new people. And it's very easy to get feedback, and some people are like, oh, I would love to hear this, and you have to sift through all of that and really remember that you're here because of what you do. And I think we just stick to that. And so the main thing is making sure that we continue to build the sound the way we want, and build the community and connect people on that level. So we're always going to stay true to that.
For sure. We talk a lot on the show about the importance of staying true to yourself and not getting trapped by a trend, because in the end it traps you, and you lose your fulfillment and your passion, for doing this day in and day out, because obviously, as you guys know, this is not an easy industry to be part of. And you need to have that fire and that energy and that, that dedication to go go above the mile. You've talked obviously a little bit about New York, but I'd love to know a little bit more about how, that amazing culture of New York has influenced your creative process and the identity of Indo Warehouse. If you want to hear the rest of our conversation, then head over to Spotify, Apple, or wherever else you get your podcasts.